Hi everybody, we are going to move on to LT5, which is, I think that's actually 4, but either way, the next one. Constructing parallel lines. So real quick thing to remind you of, when you have two parallel lines like I'm sketching here and they're cut by a transversal, this angle and this angle, they're corresponding and they're always congruent. So we're actually going to use that to make our construction. We're going to create two congruent angles. The first angle you create is your own. So what I mean by that is you have a line and a point that you're going to make it parallel through. That's what's going to be given to you. The first angle you actually create your own. So you just grab your straight edge and go through that point. I always tend to make my angle look like that. Like I always go that way a little bit, like a nice acute angle. But it doesn't matter. You can make any angle whatsoever. So that's the first angle you make. Now we're going to copy this angle up here at this point, and that's going to make that parallel line, because again, if they are congruent, those lines will be parallel. So we're going to do the copy and angle construction. So take my compass, open it up so that it touches both rays, and make sure I'm at the vertex. It's a little slippery. Okay, there's my first arc. So then remember, you repeat that. Now, in this case, I need to make my angle at that location of the point. So I'm going to come back up here and make the arc there. Now, I always make sure that that arc is extra big just to make sure that I have enough space. If not, extend it afterwards. Now we're going to measure the distance of the arc by placing our pencil point and our compass point on those two intersections. My recommendation is to always place the compass point on the transversal so that you remember where to put it when you move to the next step. So what I mean by that is we're going to measure here. Oftentimes people are kind of like, oh, where do I go now? So remember, we just measured the intersection of the arc. So we're going to come up to the intersection of the arc to create the other one. That's how we're copying the angle. We're copying the width of that arc. So now that we have that intersection, we simply connect that point to the intersection point, and we're going to have some parallel lines. So there you go. So I'll show you another example really quick just to go through the steps again. Again, step 1 is to make a transversal. Because I don't have a lot of space over here, I'm going to make mine go in that direction this time. But again, this doesn't matter. It can go in any direction. It's going to be the same thing. So we start by making a transversal. I now have an angle that I'm going to copy up here. So I grab my compass, place it at the vertex of the angle, make sure this part doesn't matter as long as it's open more than or enough to hit 1, 2, 1, 2, both rays. Come up here, copy that same arc. Now that I have it copied, I have to measure the arc. So compass point, pencil point to measure the width of the arc. Move it up again. It was the arc that we measured, so I need to be on the arc. And there we go. Now that I have that intersection point, I connect. And that's how you create parallel lines, through the corresponding angles being congruent. I hope you guys have a great day.